Welcome to The Explainer. So let's talk about one of the biggest questions in business. Why do so many new products fail? Today, we're going to dive into Clayton Christensen's really powerful idea that helps companies, well, stop guessing and actually start making things people want to buy. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. We've got more data than ever, right? We've got brilliant teams working on innovation, and yet a huge number of new products just flop. It's super frustrating. But what if the problem isn't the data or the teams? What if we're just asking the wrong questions from the very beginning? So, what's going on here? According to Clayton Christensen, it's definitely not bad luck. The problem is that we get obsessed with the wrong things. Customer demographics, endless feature lists, market trends. The real key isn't to get more data. It's to look at the whole problem through a completely different lens. And to really get what this shift in perspective is all about, let's dive into a classic business mystery. It all revolves around a fast food chain that was trying to figure out one simple thing: how to sell more milkshakes. Now, this company did everything you're supposed to do. They did all the market research, brought in customers for focus groups, asked all the usual questions, and people told them what they thought they wanted. Make it more chocolatey, add chunkier bits, maybe make it cheaper. So the company did exactly that, and nothing. Sales didn't budge, not one bit. You could imagine how frustrating that was. Okay, so to crack this case, Christensen's team decided to try something totally different. They basically threw out the old playbook. Instead of asking people questions about the milkshake, they just went to the restaurant and watched. They wanted to figure out the situation, the circumstance that made somebody show up to buy a milkshake, especially so early in the day. And what they found was a total game changer. It turned out people weren't just buying a sweet treat. They were, and this is the key phrase, hiring the milkshake to do a very specific job. And that one little idea, that we hire products to do jobs for us, that's the key that unlocks this whole way of thinking. So what was this job exactly? Well, for the people buying it in the morning, it was this: I have a long, boring commute, and I need something to make it more interesting and keep me full until lunch. See? When you frame it like that, you realize the real competition wasn't another fast food chain's milkshake. Nope, it was a banana, gone in 60 seconds. Or a bagel, which is a total mess to eat with one hand on the wheel. The milkshake? It was perfect. It's thick, it takes a long time to drink, and it's totally tidy. It was the perfect co-pilot for the commute. And that leads to this one single question that just changes everything. Instead of asking about the product, you ask, what job did you hire that product to do? It completely reframes how you think about innovation. You stop obsessing over features and start focusing on the customer's situation, their struggle, and the progress they're trying to make in their life. So you can see how this is a huge mental shift, right? The old questions, they lead you to tweak things, maybe make a small improvement that doesn't really matter. But asking about the job to be done, it's like putting on a different pair of glasses. It forces you to see the world exactly how your customer sees it. And that is where the really big, game-changing ideas are hiding. All right, so this whole milkshake mystery, it's more than just a cool story. It's actually the foundation of a really powerful framework for innovation. And it all boils down to focusing on progress, not on products. So let's put a formal name on it. It's called the jobs to be done theory. And a job is simply the progress a person is trying to make in a specific situation. But here's the really important part. It's not just about getting something done functionally. A job has emotional and social parts too. Think about it. When you buy a car, yeah, the functional job is getting from A to B, but the emotional job might be feeling a sense of freedom or success. The social job might be looking like a good provider for your family. It's all three rolled into one. And the cool thing is, this framework isn't just for fast food. Once you get the hang of looking for jobs to be done, I'm telling you, you'll start seeing them absolutely everywhere. Let's look at a couple of other really powerful examples out in the real world. Okay, check this out. Southern New Hampshire University. They looked at their online students who are mostly working adults with busy lives, and they had a big realization. These people weren't hiring SNHU for the classic college experience. No way. The job they needed done was, help me get a credential that will move my career forward, and do it in a way that fits my crazy life. So SNHU re-engineered their entire system around that one job. Super responsive support, total flexibility, and their growth just exploded because they stopped serving a student and started serving the job. Or how about this one? A real estate developer was building these awesome condos for older people looking to downsize, but they weren't selling. They thought maybe the price was wrong or the layouts were bad. But the real job had nothing to do with the condo itself. It was the crushing emotional anxiety of leaving a home filled with memories. The struggle wasn't, will I like the new place? It was, what on earth do I do with the dining room table where my family celebrated every holiday for 30 years? The solution wasn't a better condo. It was to offer services to help with that painful transition. Sorting, moving, design help. They stopped selling condos and started selling help with moving your life. Brilliant, right? So you see, in all these cases, understanding the real job takes innovation from being a total shot in the dark to a predictable, almost scientific process. Instead of just guessing which features to add, you suddenly have a crystal clear target to aim for.
So, how do you actually go out and find these jobs? Well, it's less about sitting in a conference room brainstorming and more about being a detective. For instance, you can look for what's called non-consumption. That's where people aren't buying anything to solve their problem because there's just no good solution out there. That's a huge flashing sign for an opportunity. Or look for workarounds. You know, when you see people using sticky notes and spreadsheets and a rubber band to patch together a solution, that's not them being weird. That's them practically screaming at you that there's an unmet job right there.
And at the end of the day, this is about building a business that lasts. When your whole company is organized around solving a customer's real job, you stop being just another product they can swap out for a cheaper one. You become an essential service. And that creates a moat around your business. Because, look, anyone can copy a feature, but it is so much harder to copy an entire experience that's perfectly designed to do a job. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about for your own work or your own company. What job are your customers really hiring you to do? Seriously, think about it, because getting that answer right doesn't just help you improve a product. It can change your entire business. It's the difference between just guessing what people want and truly knowing what they need. And that, my friends, is how you stop competing against luck.